So when you guys decided to take over the farm from your dad 5 years ago, what was the very first thing you guys did?
Right, so coming on board, knowing nothing about mango or agriculture at all, we had to do a little bit of research. So learning online, Google was our best friend.
Okay.
Learning and then getting part of the association, part of the Ghana Mango Growers Association. There's a lot of knowledge, a lot of information that is shared there. We also worked with our uncle who worked alongside our dad and has an agricultural background.
So your uncle was kind of like a mentor, right?
He was mainly our mentor at the
Right.
time. He guided us.
So you guys, 93% of millionaires have a millionaire mentor. So it's important to have somebody to help you, guide you through some of the areas that you're unfamiliar with.
Absolutely.
So what did he help you with? I mean, how did you guys leverage your uncle's knowledge?
So I think mainly for him, what he had said to us is, I think when you're going into with farming, you need to actually be very dedicated to what you're doing. We needed to research and know more about what we were going to do, understand what our goal was with the mangoes. Yes, we're growing mangoes, but what is the plan with those mangoes at the end? We had to make sure we had a market for those mangoes.
Good.
So just to make sure whatever we started, there was an end market
To make sure you were committed to the process,
Yes.
right? So the question, so when you decide to do this, how did you identify who your trading partners were going to be, who you were going to sell mangoes to? I mean, you're starting 5 years ago, you don't have those relationships intact. What did you do to kind of get those relationships?
So working with the association again, you get to identify who the main players are in mango industry.
Oh, okay.
So there's processing companies, you work with them. There's exporters to export your fresh fruits out of Ghana. So you work also with them. And those are your key marketing avenues to
Okay.
work with initially.
And they were pretty open and friendly to work with you and pretty, So, I mean, is it that the demand for mangoes is so high that they're willing to open with to work with people who can produce fruit? Is that what it is?
Yeah, certainly. Once you're growing quality fruits that meet their standards, they're happy to work with you. So you have to make sure you're practicing the right agricultural practices on your farm. They come, they inspect your farm, make sure everything meets their quality, because these fruits their end market is international market. So it has to be of a certain standard.
So when you guys first started this, what was your thoughts? Your thoughts were, I'm going to produce fruit and I'm going to do what with it?
Okay, that's where we were lost.
That's what you lost?
In the beginning.
Right?
But
what was your initial thoughts? You were like, I'm going to go take over the farm and I'm going to basically do more to the farm and produce more than my father did. I'm going to take it to a whole nother level. Yeah. And to do that, you were going to do what?
So early on, we sort of played with the idea of, this was the initial thing, was to have a farm that we could have people visit. So a pick your own farm. That was initially what we wanted to do, because that's something we always enjoyed with the kids.
Right.
When we were in the UK or whenever we travel, is actually going onto the farm, a place you could relax, pick fruits, and actually, spend time on the farm. So that was our initial idea with it.
Okay.
But I think we slowly realized to do that, we needed to actually do a lot more work on the farm itself to get it to a standard where people could come on and actually enjoy a day on the farm. And through that process, we realized there was a lot of fruits that we could do more with. So
Right.
we decided, well, there are processors, but why couldn't we be a processor as well?
Right.
So we decided we would start small and see how we could actually make use of our fruits as well as what we supply on for other companies.
So when you came on, your initial thought was you're gonna grow fruit and then basically sell it to suppliers who then process it and do whatever to it. And
That's the general market.
That was
for
your
most
market.
farmers,
Right.
is just to produce and sell on.
But then you guys decided to take a step further by producing or by creating your own product.
Right.
And so how did the idea of creating your own product come about? What were the thoughts behind that?
So thoughts behind it was, first of all, we had fruits which sometimes would get too soft to be able to sell. So there was only so much as a family we could actually eat.
Right.
So we looked at that and just thinking on different ideas. We had tried maybe thinking about juice, but the quantities you would need to sort of produce juice, we weren't at that level. So we grow peppers and other things on the farm. So we played around and thought of a hot sauce. That was the initial idea.
Oh, wow.
We had the peppers, we had the mangoes. So we thought, let's try that.
So what was your first product of the one that you created?
Our first product, our baby product, is our mango habanero hot sauce.
Wow, okay.
So with this, our mom loves growing fruits, vegetables, everything. So she grew a lot of habanero. So we had so much habanero she was always bringing over. So a lot of mango, a lot of habanero, and that was the idea.
So how'd you come up with the recipe? Did you go online to find the recipe?
So it's different things we've tried over time, and then also searching online to find recipes, and then playing around with it, tasting, taking it to friends, family, a few little events, and getting feedback until we got enough,
Right.
responses where everybody enjoyed it, and we realized, yep, I think we have a product.
That's pretty cool. Now, I spoke to your sister Maria, and she was saying that you guys realized that as you made more products, the formulas changed, right? Meaning that you had to basically alter your formula. So how did you figure out, how do you figure out what's the right blend? Meaning when you make a smaller sample, and you might need, a cup of sugar or a teaspoon of salt, but now you're making, huge volumes. You're making gallons. You're making tons of them. How did you compensate for that?
So the idea was, once we had our recipe perfect as we wanted it, and the customers did as well, now we've stuck to that. So we have our secret formula, which we stick to.
Right.
And so we've just scaled up on the original that we first did in one tiny little jar. And that's what we stuck to.
So you found that even as you scaled up, the recipe holds?
It does hold, yeah, because
Okay.
we're keeping to the same formula as we did. All the ingredients are the same, and we're just scaling up.
That's good. So what was your second product, if I could find out? Or if
So
you could
second
share with us.
product we had was, again, we carried on with the idea of the hot sauce. We just wanted a variation in color.
Okay.
So we were thinking on that and wanted to use something. Habaneros aren't originally Ghanaian, obviously, but we wanted to use a local pepper. And we have a local green pepper in Ghana, which is called the Kpakpo pepper. So we decided to go with that for the green. But in order to get the green we wanted, we again went with something local, moringa.
Oh,
which
wow.
is a superfood.
Okay.
So we added in moringa with the pepper.
Superfood in that.
In that, it's very high in most of the vitamins, higher than a lot of other foods you would eat. You would get more vitamins from maybe a teaspoon or a spoon of moringa than you would eating maybe 20 bananas, more potassium in it than you would if you ate 20 bananas. So that's just one example of it.
Right. That sounds really good. So you guys, just so you know, I will be, bringing a set of these products back. Their sister wants to give it to me. I tell them no, I have to buy it because I'm into recycling black dollars. So I'm going to buy some of these products, and they're going to set up an ordering system where you can become a member of Henley Farms and basically order your products and get them on a regular basis, because these are reorder products, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to stay in your shelves long. Just a quick question that I want to ask you for my viewers. They might be wondering, hey, I might want to come to Ghana and buy some land and become a farmer and just leave the United States and produce products and sell them to my friends in the United States. So give me an idea, how much is an acre of land, just raw land with nothing on it, in Ghana? How much would it cost in this farm area?
Okay, so maybe just to get an acre of land, possibly between $4,000 to about $5,000.
So $4,000 to $5,000 US dollars.
Yes.
Wow.
We'll probably get you an acre of land.
Right, and so to produce a decent amount of product to kind of go in this kind of a business, how much land, how many acres of land would people typically need or want?
I guess depends on what you were going for. If you're wanting to sell for export,
Right.
you would need quite huge amounts of land because you would have to be able to fulfill container loads.
So how big minimally would you say?
For mangoes, maybe 30 acres.
30 acres, okay.
Would be good, yeah.
Right, okay. That's good. So 30 acres times $5,000, that's only about what? $150,000?
So easily doable for them.
Exactly, $150,000 and you'd have yourself a mango farm. This is really cool that you guys are doing this. I love the product. It's a lot of work, huh? Yeah, I'm sure. So, what kind of regulations and approvals do you need in Ghana to kind of sell your products?
So for Ghana market, basic you need is Ghana Food Research. So you have to take your products in to be tested. They check your labeling, your packaging, the writing, the wording of it, make sure everything meets their standards first. After they've done that, then you're good for the local market. You need to go to AMA to certify your premises as well.
Okay.
So they come certify your products and your premises.
So is that a difficult process? Is it a long process?
Gradually it's getting better. It used to be, but now it's a lot better.
Right.
Once you meet all the criteria, you've got the right ingredients, right packaging, right labeling, it's fairly straightforward.
So
Maybe-
given that this was like your kind of first products, how hard was it to even learn the process? Was that difficult, or is it pretty well documented on what you need to do?
It is documented at Food Research. Maybe some of the challenges we faced were some of our products are new and they don't have standards for it.
Okay.
So you had to go back and forth a little bit, get more information, tweak, change things up a little bit
Right.
to get approval.
Okay. Cool.
Some of these are too small. General market sizing is this, and it's beautiful and got no blemish at all
Wow.
on it. These meet international.
So that's really
size.
picky. So out of a tree like this, how many could you potentially produce? How many mangoes could you produce that are perfect, that are the right size?
You can never get them perfect, but you can produce up to 300 to 400 mangoes per tree.
Oh wow.
If
Okay.
you follow the right practices. But they're always irregular, so you never get them all the same sizing.
Right.
So these will go beautifully for export because they fit the
So-
sizing, and you can fit a certain number of them in one box.
So is this considered ripe now?
This needs another 3 weeks on here because we've got specific dates because of all the applications that you apply to them.
So how do you monitor the dates? Do you put markings?
Yeah, we've got documentation, so you have to keep a record, keep data on what applications you're using, what what's it called, fertilizer you're applying to each tree.
Each tree.
At which
So are the
for
trees numbered,
traceability.
or how do you?
Yes, all the trees are numbered.
Oh, they're all numbered,
There's
okay.
traceability, so you're numbered by rows, by each tree, and by plot section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so Rita here is showing you what they do to prune a mango. What I was told from them is that this pruning device actually cuts it, and at the same time it grabs it, because it is not acceptable for the mango to hit the ground, because they're concerned about bruises and those types of things, and they can't sell that. So this is a very specific type of industry, so you have to be very, very careful to not damage your product. So you gonna demonstrate that for us? So she said that you typically got to hold it with 2 hands, which makes it challenging because you don't want it to touch the ground. And then it goes rigid from there right into a box. So so we have the box there. So this size of a, let me see this. This size of a mango, is this a typical size? Is this considered large or what?
So this is large. Yeah.
Right.
So this is quite large. So this would go to the processors locally who prefer the larger ones for cutting, for drying.
Okay.
So they are happier to have this for drying, but for maybe export level, you might have maybe similar size to this,
Right.
or even slightly smaller than this. Generally, for the export boxes, maybe about that size.
So tell me-
cut one of these off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hold the box underneath just in case. I'm learning a new skill, y'all. So thank you for watching this segment. By now you should know everything about purchasing the land in Ghana, growing mangoes and producing your products. And I really appreciate the Hendy sisters at Hendy Farms for walking me through and sharing their story with us. But one thing I want them to do, I want them to slowly tell you how you can reach out to them, how you can purchase their product, because I'm going to bring some of their product back, and I'm going to be one of their members because I could see using some of their sauces on my fish that I like to cook. So would you guys please just share with them how they can contact you online. If they need to call you by your cell phone or something, just make sure they know how to reach you so they can get your product. And when they come to Ghana, how they can come out and take a tour of your farm and learn more about mango farming in Ghana.
Thank you. So you can reach us on www.hendyfarmsgh.com, and we're also on social media on Facebook, on Instagram as Hendy Farms. You can contact us at +233 50055 4130.
So behind us is the future site of the Hendy Farms processing site. And so since your site is not up and running now, how do you create your product? How do you bottle it? How do you manufacture it, and where do you do it?
Okay, so we have a converted space in Accra, which we work out of. So we've converted a kitchen and a storeroom with an office. So we have a processing space there, which is small at the moment for us to start out. So we needed to make sure the product, the idea we had with the product could work. So rather than build a whole factory, before we sort of went out marketing, our plan has been to actually work on the product and perfect that and build our brand and the market and demand for it. So we've done that starting out by going to farmers market, food events, and actually marketing and advertising our product.
So what has the customer reception has been like for your product? I mean, what's their feedback been?
So yeah, feedback has been very good. Most people who try it, unless they don't like spicy food,
right?
But most people who try it do love it. So we've had comments where people are actually wanting, some people are wanting more spice.
Okay.
So it's generally been good feedback we've had at most events we've been to.
So who makes the product? Do you have a staff that makes it, or?
So yeah, so myself and I have one other staff who I work with. So there's two of us in our processing space at the moment who make the products.
Oh wow! So is it a long process to make, or is it a long time frame to make it?
It's not super long. I mean, it's start to end. It's a couple of hours. We're able to do a batch. So we work on batch. So we don't do huge quantities. So we're wanting to keep it very homemade. So we work in batches. So we do a couple of batches. In a few hours, we're able to do that. So
what about bottling? I mean, who handles the bottling? How does the bottling work?
Okay, so we source everything locally. The bottles, the jars, the labels, everything is sourced locally. We sterilize all our bottles, then we fill, and then we package and sell and pass on to the end user.
So you guys fill it yourself? You have like funnels and stuff that you...
So yeah, it's all hand filled. So we're very much, a handmade product. So it's not a big machine that's doing anything for you. It's handmade, homemade product. So from start to end, it's all natural.
And that's really good. I guess that's a really great place to start, because now you know the whole life cycle from beginning to end. And when you start doing mass production, you can take your knowledge and make sure that the mass producers maintain the integrity of the product.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon.